Hi, I'm Daniel Foley from Foley Health and Fitness. In this video, we're going to be talking about activating the good genes that are on the inside of you. Now, a lot of times when people talk about genetics and the genes that we all have in our DNA, they talk about, the markers that we have for bad things, for cancer and certain diseases and risk factors and all these types of things. And one of the things we know about genes is genes can be turned on or turned off. Now, depending on the environment that you create in your body, certain genes are turned on and certain genes are turned off. And a lot of times we talk about these bad genes for diseases and risk factors and all this type of stuff, and we kind of fear activating those genes for cancer or whatever it may be. But what I want to tell you is this, is that you also have, you have these genetics for bad things. We all have them in our genes. But you also have this whole set that most people don't know about of good genes for good things to happen, for tapping into the potential that's in your body. The human body has amazing capacity and amazing potential. You have a capacity for greater health, a capacity for greater fitness, a capacity for a much higher level of purpose in your life. And you have the ability to turn these genes on. A lot of times people talk about genetics, which is just out of fear of not turning these certain genes on so that things don't go the wrong way. But what I want to talk about is shifting our mindset in the other direction. And what do I need to do? I've got all these dormant genes for good that are waiting to be activated over here on this side. How do I turn things around and start moving towards that? And it's really, when we're talking about activating genes, like I said, you have this unlimited potential that's waiting on the inside of you, but we just have to activate it. We have to step into it, and we have to turn it on and make it useful. And so how do we do that? We have to create the right environment in our body. Now, obviously, we know from genetic stuff that environmental factors like the foods that you eat, exercise, getting your rest, smoking and drugs and all this type of stuff, all that plays a role in kind of the environment that's going on the inside of your body. And it's going to turn on and off genes. So making changes for the better in those areas, like we talk about, is going to be a big deal. So we got to get those in place. But the bigger area that I want to talk about in this video is that one of the biggest areas that determines the environment on the inside of your body, the culture that's on the inside of your body, is your mindset and your emotions. I want you to think of your emotions as like powder in the bottom of a glass. Think of, it's not the healthiest example, but Kool-Aid or sugar in the bottom of a glass, and you start to stir that in. That powder in the bottom of the glass starts to stir in, and it's mixed into the water. And the longer you stir that, the longer it becomes a part of that water. And so your emotions are a very similar thing. Your emotions are waiting to be stirred up. We use terms like stirred up, rose up, welled up with anger, let's say, and we have these emotions and they get stirred up on the inside of our body. And this is going on all the time, okay? Not just when you eat, not just when you exercise. This is going on all the time. And so how we respond emotionally a lot of times is a huge factor in which genes are getting turned on, which genes are getting turned off. And I can guarantee you this, almost always, if you look back, whenever the last time was that you were sick, I want you to look back, prior to that, maybe over a couple days, maybe a week long period before you got sick. Was there some kind of negative emotional state, negative emotional event that you experienced right before you got sick? A lot of times, you're going to find the answer was yes, because those emotions get stirred in and it changes the environment and the culture on the inside of your body. And so when we start to learn to change our mental and emotional state, and then we stack on top of that better nutrition and exercise, it makes all the difference. Now I can start to activate and I can start to tap into maybe some of those good genes that I didn't know I had, and I can start to turn them on and to activate them and put them into play. And all the time I'm moving, as I do that, I'm moving this way. I'm moving further and further away from those bad genes that I don't want, okay? I'm moving this direction. I'm activating things. I'm going the other way and I'm activating things that are good. Now the natural tendency in life is everything wants to go the wrong way if you let it. Everything wants to decay and go the wrong way. In science, they use the word entropy. Everything wants to go towards disorder and chaos. So the natural tendency is for our genes and our genetic code and our bodies to go the wrong way and start to activate these bad genes. It's going to take some work to move you over to this other side. So it's going to start kind of from the inside out. It's going to start with, building up belief. And we talk about, my book, Cracking Heaven's Code. We talk about the importance of building our belief kind of in the inner core of who we are, because that's going to change how we respond to situations, which is going to change our emotions and our thought patterns. And then I've got to start to build my emotions. I've got to start to build things like faith and peace and humility and trust and courage. Courage is going to be a big one. Courage is going to be one of the biggest ones to activate this new set of genes that we want to get into, we want to tap into. It's going to take a higher level of courage. Maybe doing some of the things that you're scared to do is going to require. It's going to be what's required to step into that. We talk about the control of your emotions. We talk about having a higher level of security versus insecurity in your life. The more I'm on those negative side of emotions, I can use those negative emotions to make adjustments and move me this way. But the more I'm in those negative emotional states, the more it's going to move me this way. So I get those emotional states fixed, and then I begin to stack on that nutrition and the exercise and all those types of things as well. And now I'm starting to tap into this whole other set of, genetic potential that maybe I didn't know that I had. And I'm doing things that maybe I thought, I was questioning, was I capable of those things? And we're tapping into a higher level of our own personal potential, because our bodies are made for more. You heard the saying, we only use 10% of our brains. Well, I would say we're not using a huge percentage of our genetic potential just in general a lot of time. I know, just looking at physical potential, most people are not living up to what they're capable of doing, let's say physically in the gym. And that's just because we have to get that emotional mindset right first, and then everything flows out from there, is one of the biggest things we have to learn. But the big message I want to get across is you have good genes that are waiting to be turned on, but the natural tendency is to go the wrong way. It's going to take taking action and consistently moving in this right direction. It starts from a change in mindset and emotions and getting ourselves into a better emotional state and stacking things like good nutrition and fitness and those types of things on top of it. And it's going to, all of a sudden, we're going to start to open up and activate new genes that maybe we didn't know we had. So if you want to learn more, you can check out my book, Cracking Heaven's Code. It's got some more about this idea of the genes and potential that are available to you, and the coding system for mindset, nutrition, and exercise that we use. Or you can come see us here at Foley Health and Fitness and get started with a workout, because one of the biggest ways to change this environment as well is just exercise. Exercise helps you tap into more of what your body is capable of. We would love to have the opportunity to help you with that. But check us out, FoleyHealthAndFitness.com.